This is the audio version of Losing Trades, Stop Second Guessing Yourself, found at OptionSizzle.com. One of the toughest issues option investors face is sticking to their plan during adverse times. I believe there are a couple of reasons why this may occur. Now, before I get into it, keep in mind that I'm not a trained psychologist. What I'll be sharing from is personal trading experience, coaching, and conversations with thousands of option investors over the years. First, one of the most important factors to being successful as an option investor is to have a strategy that yields a positive expectancy with a payout that makes statistical sense. In the beginning, how will you know what the strategy or strategies will be? Well, for the most part, you won't. For instance, many think selling a covered call is safer than selling a put. However, long stock, short call have the same risk profile as being short a put. Actually, selling a put with the right criteria provides a better chance of success with less capital. You see, as you're introduced to new option strategies, you'll want to test them out and see if they fit your personality, schedule, and capital thresholds. For example, personality is this respect means what you're comfortable with in regards to execution, risk, trade, structure, and time allocation. Your schedule simply means how much available time will you allocate to your option investing. Some strategies require more screen time than others. Capital thresholds are the limitations you have with your trading account. Some strategies require more capital to execute and adjust. Remember, you need to have enough capital to weather the storm before the sky turns clear again. You must keep your position size small when still taking on risk. This is hard and very costly way of trying to figure out what works. For many, they just don't have enough money to do that. A lot of investors start out with small amounts of capital. There's nothing wrong with that, and some of the best traders started out with small accounts. The issue, though, is that many have unrealistic expectations and push too hard, too fast. Like I discussed in What's Your One Best Trade Idea Right Now, found at OptionSizzle.com, we're not born knowing how to invest successfully, but we all can learn. A lot of times people think they can just go into it without having experience or knowledge. They may have read a few books and think they're ready. They want to try to learn through trial and error, also known as losses and frustration, and hopefully they can figure out what works so they don't have to invest into investor education courses. I understand there are companies out there preying on investors, trying to sell them the unicorn. A lot of them sell theories which sound sexy, but if you're like me, when you want to learn something, you want to be taught what works. I've written some articles pertaining to certain strategies here. Long-term options, better for investing or trading. The ugly truth about buying options, and why I only follow those who have skin in the game, all found at OptionSizzle.com. You'll know when you've figured out what style fits you quickly. Instead of randomly getting into trades without any rhyme or reason, you'll be focused on specific parameters and setups. Lather, rinse, and repeat. It will become second nature and almost mechanical. So why do option investors go away from their strategy or don't follow through when they see a setup they like? I think some of it can be attributed to lack of confidence. Lack of confidence could be from getting on a losing streak or not having enough experience. In poker, if you play has positive expectancy, the more you play, the less the luck factor is involved. Once you have a strategy that works, you play the numbers game. Not every outcome will be a winner, but in the long run, you should come out on top. Too many times when things get sour for some option investors, they'll want to quickly start searching for another strategy that will be better or add another element to improve it. Of course, this could backfire. In fact, we can see this on other disciplines as well. Some believe if gold legend Tiger Woods didn't change his swing multiple times after becoming a champion, he'd still be one of the most dominating figures in sports. Did you know that Kobe Bryant has missed more field goal attempts than any single player in history of the NBA? It's true, however, his accolades and accomplishments trump his glitch on his resume. You're bound to have losing trades, but you've got to understand that's part of the game. I've recently had the opportunity to check out the USN Blue Angels Air Show in Chicago. The symmetry, coordination, and rhythm that they have is simply breathtaking. After watching the show from my balcony, I was intrigued to learn more about how they prepare. It turns out they practice a couple times a week, the same exact way as if they had a live audience. By the time the weekend rolls around, the air show is silky smooth due to all the work they previously put into it. Confidence comes from practicing the right way. Now, lack of experience can lead to lack of conviction. If you haven't seen the strategy work enough or understand the probabilities, you could get spooked out of the opportunity or not even get in when you see the ideal setup. I notice this with a lot of our readers and clients on strategies that involve selling premium. They understand they have a high chance of success, but still don't understand that their position will get tested or even end up as a loss. That is why I tell them they can't use stop losses on trades like that, which is something I discussed in Greater Profits in Less Time on Your Option Trades, found on OptionSizzle.com. Sometimes I'm managing a trade to minimize the loss or opening another to provide myself more time for the odds to come back in my favor. I know I can't win them all, so it might take me 5, 6, or even 7 trades to make back that one loss and square up to where I was before. If you believe in paper trading, I would put on trades I know that would not work and start to work yourself out of them. The other thing you can use right now is Thinkorswim's Think Back function. This provides end-of-day prices going back many years. You could put positions on and test them much more quickly than live trades. You got to do something. Just watching and cursing that you didn't follow your game plan is not enough. Building confidence in your strategy and executing is essential if you want to follow your game plan. Lack of experience also correlates with lack of knowledge. Again, it's important to trade small, backtest, and paper trade until you have a feel of what works or doesn't. The stuff I teach to my clients flat out works in the long run. I'm not saying this to brag, however, I am proud because I did a lot of things wrong in the beginning before I reached this level of awareness. It's not going to be easy. The markets can and will test you, sometimes even push you into your max pain threshold. Of course, this is another reason why believing in your process is so important. A good way to prepare yourself for the test you'll receive from the market is visualization. By simply visualizing yourself putting on positions, how will you react if it works against or for you? Visualize the conditions of the market or stock you'll be in. What will happen to the bid-ask spreads? Will they be tight or wide? How does it look if you lost on that trade? Probably not as bad as you think it is. The goal would be to try to make the visualization as real as possible. That will best prepare you for the challenges ahead. I discuss this more in depth in 4 steps to have a profitable trading mindset, found at OptionSizzle.com. It's not the strategy, it's me. Hey, I understand. I feel like that sometimes as well. Recently, I asked what worried people the most on Twitter and Facebook, and a lot responded with things that were out of their control. There's always the risk when being in the market. And the reason why options are so advantageous to individual investors like you and I. Your emotions will get the best of you. It's part of being human. Understand you'll miss entries or exits. Some will benefit you, while others would have avoided losses. I see them as washing each other out. You're always going to have emotions whenever you invest, like it or not. The key is really to have a handle on them by understanding they are there. No one knows if a trade is going to work, even if you believe there's an edge. When I wrote Why Size Matters, especially in options trading, found at optionsizzle.com, it focused on how bad position sizing can kill a good strategy in 3 ways to keep more profits and know when to sell, and how to avoid frequent trading losses and panic selling. I laid out my mechanics and processes of when to exit a trade. It may not work for you. The key is to have something in place. So when the time comes, you're making calculated decisions when your emotions are running wild. As you could see, we're pretty stacked on a ton of useful information on improving mechanics, like when to stop out of a trade and take a loss. Of course, you can always refer to 5 steps to better options trading and trading goals. Yours could be hurting your options trading. Get a trading buddy or group. You'll benefit greatly from being around or talking to fellow option investors like yourself. It's important to know that you're not alone, and we all go through the same ups and downs. Sometimes speaking to someone who's gone through the same frustrations can lead to a real boost in morale. You want to know that there are others like you. In fact, we're currently working on having a bigger Option Sizzle community, a place where option investors and traders can share, talk, and learn from each other. If you're like me, my significant other doesn't want to hear about my trading. That's why I want to set up a weekly call where you can collaborate with others and even ask me questions live. Now it's on you. In the end, the goal is to execute a strategy that works and understand confidence comes from understanding you will have losses, while not letting our emotions get the best of us. Easier said than done, I know. I'd be lying if I said it didn't happen to myself or some of the best traders I know. It's about staying the course for the long term and getting yourself back in the game as fast as possible. Hopefully, you found this information useful. By the way, when was the last time you have ever had this happen to you? Seen the setup you liked, but was too gun shy to take the trade? If so, I'd love to hear your story. I'll be hanging out in the comment section found at optionsizzle.com underneath this article.